Schedule a Zoom with me at gcexperts.com/Zoom.
Works. When I was non-union, I was a part of two startups, and I'm just to the point now to where I'm tired of working for people because of quality. Um, I, I'm just ready to go to the other side of construction. Newly incorporated. I've done a bunch of like jobs, like construction jobs, like side jobs. Now I'm ready to jump into the big leagues and do it the right way.
Sure. Well, that's what I do. I never know what people have seen of me or not seen of me before they come into a Zoom. What do you know about me so far?
I've been following for a couple years now. Um, haven't watched a whole bunch of content, but I am very familiar with your work. I know you and your dad have done what is it, $1 billion in revenue and contracts, and you have a long-standing um like track record of successfully bringing people into the government contracting space. And I want to be one of those people.
Well, I never know. I like it when somebody gets into a Zoom with me and says, I was in the Army, I was in the Marine Corps, maybe not the Air Force, but I love Navy guys.
Air Force.
But, the whole idea being following instructions, right? If somebody can keep it simple, stupid, and show you the exact steps to become successful, man, 9 times out of 10, the guys that are ex-military go, got it. Flow down provisions, following, what to do. So, and plus, most people that come from a military background or service background, they are willing to do the work. They recognize that success is an overnight thing, right?
It's a
So,
process.
yeah, it's a process. So, I mean, now that you understand kind of what I do, you've been following me for a couple of years. What questions do you have for me?
I As far as like all the baseline questions, I pretty much have a good idea of like, how the whole process works because I've researched other consulting companies. So, but you specialize in the space that I'm already in and that I want to, be a part of. The only thing outside of just straight up construction would be trucking. You know what I'm saying? And some people consider trucking with construction and trades. There are trucking opportunities within the construction space with like expediting and moving water and materials and things of that nature. So, I mean, there's a whole separate logistical side that is involved with construction alone. So,
There is, but I want you to consider barrier to entry. Okay.
yes,
How hard is it to go out and get a CDL license?
there's CDL schools all over the nation. Tech schools. I used to teach welding at the local college back home. So,
Okay.
and they had a CDL. Almost every community college and tech school has a CDL program. Then you have your independent CDL schools. My dad drove trucks my whole life. He's still driving now.
Look, I got nothing wrong with trucker. I got no beef with anybody in this world making a living. But I'm asking you a question. What's the barrier to entry? And your answer seemed to be like practically there isn't one. Anybody who wants to become a trucker can become a trucker. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Now, what's the barrier to entry to take it to the next step in that business? Well, you need to save up a little bit of money. You need to put together some logistics and a team and that kind of stuff. But can
Yes,
pretty much anybody do that?
yes. You can basically start from here and just with decent financials, you can scale easy.
Okay. Now, tell me what the barrier to entry is to do what I did.
That's the magic, and that's why I need you.
Okay.
And
So
so
here's
it's
my point.
it's the unknown.
If something's easy to get into, how much money is there to be made?
Whatever's on the table or what everybody else
When
is scrounging
something's
to get,
really hard to get into, what's the opportunity for money to be made?
I would imagine way greater than the average.
Okay, so my point here is, look, have I used trucking companies to move shit over my career? Yeah. And whatever they charged me, I fucking paid them and I moved on because fuck you, I'm moving on to the next job that doesn't require that.
Got it.
Okay? It's a tool. The same way that if I'm flying into a job site and we need tools to get the work accomplished, I go to the store and I buy the tools. And then when we're done, I don't care who ends up with the tools. They were
Oh,
a cost
oh,
associated with
oh.
accomplishing the job.
See, that's a different mindset than standard construction. Most of those companies, they will buy those tools in mind of it's an asset, so they maintain it and then they take it on and use it on the next job. So this is I'm saying already, this is a different mindset already.
It's not only that, but I think of people and companies as tools. Okay.
Hmm.
I go down to Florida. I have a roofing job with the federal government. I hire a local roofer. He goes out there and does it. I make $30,000. I move on to the next job and see you never. You were a tool to accomplish a mission.
Get it.
Okay. It's not that we can't be friends and we can't have a relationship, but if I'm doing work in all 50 states across the United States, when's the next time I'm going to get a roofing job in Miami-Dade, Florida? 10 years from now? I don't know. Because the
Yeah,
next roofing job is in Oklahoma City. The next roofing job is in Montana. The next roofing job is in Wisconsin. Okay.
got it.
It's not that I haven't had relationships over my career and used, for instance, when you operate in Montana and Idaho and that part of the country, South Dakota, North Dakota, there's
Hmm.
only like 500,000 people in the whole state. And it's remote work oftentimes with the National Park Service or the federal courthouse in Sioux City, South, Iowa, Sioux City, Iowa. Is that Iowa?
Iowa, yeah. Mom
Yeah.
lives in Iowa.
But anyway, oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Sioux Falls, not.
Sioux City is.
But anyway, sometimes there's only a certain amount of contractors that pretty much handle the whole state. You call them up and they go, "Yeah, I'll drive over there and check it out." Well, how far is that? Oh, it's only about 4 hours. Okay. So, but the idea is that I'm a national federal contractor. I do everything from wind tunnels, water treatment plants to kitchen renovations. And you're talking to a local guy and you're putting the deal together. The money is in the deal. Hey, think about it this way. Everybody, including you, is a middleman. Think about it. If you want an apple at the grocery store, how did that get there?
From the farm? Well, from the
Okay,
truck that
hold
went to
on.
the
Wait, hold on. Let's start with the farm, okay? Or the apple orchard. Somebody picked that apple. He's a middleman between what?
packaging it up and getting it on the truck.
That's right. He's the middleman there. The guy that drives the truck, he's the middleman between
Yeah.
what?
Between the receiving department at the grocery store, or it's sometimes a warehouse first.
That's right. The guys at the warehouse, they're middlemen.
Hmm.
Everybody is a middleman. You're a middleman between work that needs to get done and the accomplishment of the work. I'm a middleman between you and federal government construction contracts.
That's a big.
Everybody is a middleman.
That's pretty straightforward right there.
The idea is to become the middleman of demand on federal government construction contracts. That's what I teach.
Got it. That's where I'm looking to go because I'm looking to spend more time with my family. My children are in those critical teenage years now where
Of
daddy
course.
daddy needs to be there to help guide them through it.
You
And
you just reminded me of my definition of success. I don't talk about this very often. My definition of success is to be able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want.
yes, indeed.
If I can do those three things, I consider myself successful. That has nothing to do with money. What I want, when I want, with who I want.
That's it.
I've been doing that for a long time, and it's fun.
I could only imagine. Yeah, I'm ready. I pondered on this for a long time. I've gone through certain injuries and setbacks, and now I'm ready to get on the upside of things now.
Have you been working with any AI lately?
Not enough to say yes. I've
That's
because
okay.
it's touch and go, but I'm not scared of it.
The reason I mention it is I just invested $250,000 creating my own AI.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to talk to him?
Sure.
Listen to this. Call Trip.
Calling Trip.
Hey, Sean, what do you need?
Hey, listen, I'm on a Zoom right now, and I want you to explain who you are and what you do for me.
Sure, Sean. I'm Trip, GCExperts AI Project Manager. I help manage your federal contracting pipeline, track opportunities, dig into bids, and give you real-time guidance on pricing, scope, and strategy. I can read plans and specs, analyze drawings, produce preliminary estimates, and fill out forms like SF 1442. I basically make the federal bidding process easier.
Why don't you show me or tell me about 3 jobs in Indiana or surrounding states that are, say, under $100,000 estimated?
Let me find a few jobs that fit that criteria. One sec, pulling up the list now. Here are 3 jobs in Indiana under 100,000. First, bid tracker number 145076. Repair and maintain water towers at FCI Terre Haute from the Department of Justice, due August 4th. Second, bid tracker number 145451. Electronic security systems from the Department of Defense, due August 10th, with a total small business set aside. Third, bid tracker number 144824. Comms installation of power whips for server rack power feed from the Air Force, due August 14th, with an estimated range of $25,000 to $45,000.
Tell me about the scope of work on that Power Whips job.
Sure. Let me pull up the scope of work for that power whips installation job. One moment. Here's a key part of the scope. The contractor needs to install 4 independent circuit runs, each 240-208V single-phase 30-amp circuits. These runs need locking receptacles, NEMA L630R, mounted securely to the server rack or structural channel. There's an estimated load of around 37.5 amps and about a 25-foot run from the source electrical panel. Additionally, there are 2 125V 15-amp circuits for a separate building server racks. All work must be fire-stopped as needed, and the contractor is responsible for all labor, materials, and equipment. Contractor personnel need background checks and must be escorted in secure areas. This is a firm, fixed-price turnkey job, and the contractor is responsible for verifying all conditions on site. That's the core of it. If you want more detail or need any specifics, just let me know.
Can you give me your own estimate as to how much I should bid that for?
Sure, I can do a quick ballpark cost estimate for this job. Give me a second to run the numbers. My estimate for that job is in the range of $18,000 to $25,000. That's based on approximately 200 linear feet of conduit and wire, standard labor and material costs in Indiana, and accounting for the escorts and background checks. If you need more detail or want to fine-tune that estimate further, feel free to let me know.
Can you email me your estimate, please?
That's out the door. Check your inbox in a minute.
Did you hear that, Dean?
That's amazing.
Thanks, Trip.
Glad to help, Sean. Anything else you need right now?
You ever heard anything like that before?
I've not.
Yeah. I mean, it speaks for itself. I don't even know what to say. It's pretty
No,
amazing.
you're right, it does. That's amazing. There's so many things you can get done with that.
Yeah. He can build schedules, safety plans, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. And I'm almost done with my EM 385 too. I know you're familiar with that.
I'm not going to say I ever read it cover to cover, but in the days when I was doing this, in those days it was books. You actually had a book, the Federal Acquisition Regulations, and I think it came out every other year or something like that. They color coded it. But then the other book I had was the EM 385, whatever version I had, but it was red. The FAR book was brown or taupe in the days that I had it, and the EM 385 was red. They were both about the same size, same thickness. And in my top left drawer on my desk next to my computer, I could always pull it out, because in those days you couldn't even Google it.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, reference it.
but I had, these little tabs that you could peel and stick tabs to bookmark a page.
Yes, indeed.
Both of those books had 100 of them easily for things that I needed to quickly reference in certain situations. But yeah, I'm very familiar with the EM385.
I mean, I said I've been looking into government contracting on, say, like different levels, and like the term that you used earlier, the what's called like point of entry, and how easy it is, how easy or hard it is to get into a certain space. That's basically where. But it's like I love construction. I've been doing it for what, roughly 13 years now, and it's like there's just so much opportunity there, and there's so much is. And like I said, it's not all about the money. I'm leaning towards going into a project and walking away from it knowing that it's done right. And also from me being in the turnaround and shutdown side of things too, also when those maintenance guys go through and they go to start doing their scheduled routine maintenance, even 90 days after you leave, if a valve is put in weird somewhere and they have trouble getting to it, first thing they're gonna ask, who's the contractor that installed this? Don't hire them again because we can't do our job or it's not easy enough. So you have to make it easy for the maintenance guys coming behind you. And then also, but even in this space right here, we go in and do a job. If someone is coming behind us, we want them to think, hey, they did a pretty good job. We ever need anything done again, we'll call them. You get what I'm saying?
I
And
do.
so it's like I've seen a little bit of the business side of it, but just being out there in the field and dealing with the maintenance managers, dealing with the people out there in the field that's actually dealing with it, and just like the whole customer relations side of it too. I'm telling you, construction is way more than what people think that I think they think it is. Cause it's like I tell
Sure.
people I'm in construction. Construction is like this tier all the way up to here.
That's right. And the federal government will invest more money to get it done right,
I'm all
as
about
opposed
quality.
to any of the other construction types. all the way down to residential, commercial, etc. The difference is, in part, that when you deal with a residential or commercial construction contract, they're having to pull money out of their pocket to pay you.
Mm-hmm.
The federal government isn't pulling money out of their pocket. They're pulling it out of yours and mine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Tax dollars.
And we, the people, want our federal government to operate smoothly and correctly. We're willing to invest a little more money to get it done right.
And again, my whole model for me just getting my business off the ground is standard of excellence.
Sure.
I want to leave every time one of my crews leaves a job site, one, it'll be like we was never there. And two, the lasting impression is the quality of work we leave behind. So that's really it. And I know that right there will take me far from everything I've seen so far, because I've been on multiple, multiple areas of construction. So I feel pretty good about going into this. But here's the thing, from the earlier part, I'm there will have to be a slight mental shift because I'm used to going in and doing the work myself. So with the middleman part, trust me, I could definitely wrap my mind around that too, because again, both my kids play travel sports. Um, you know, both my kids are homeschooled. My wife doesn't work, and I set them up to be able to move around with me with my career. But again, me getting onto the higher side of where I am now, because I'm in management now on the project where I am now. I mean, lower management, I'm just a foreman. But, I get to go in those meetings and see, talk to the engineers and all that. And I'm just tired of this space right now. It's too cutthroat. It's too it's too many hands in the pot. You get what I'm saying? And it's just I'll go and get this off my chest too. I hate someone coming to tell me to do something when I know they don't know how to do it. That just grinds my gears, and it's just like, you want me to go do this. If I was to have an issue, could you help me? No. So why are you a superior over me right now? You lack the competence and competency to even do this. So, and just the politics and all that stuff, I'm just ready to get out of this whole space right now.
Sure. Well, any other questions for me?
How do we get started?
When we get off this Zoom, I'll have Mark Weston send you a link on how to get started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm excited about this because it's like I've been following, the whole GC experts for some time now, and it's like I said, I've done the whole oranges to apples with other services, and I want to go with the people, with my people, construction people. The other people have services. We do this. I've only heard you talk about solely
Construction.
construction.
That's right.
So
I don't care about all the other stuff. I don't want to sell cake mix to the Navy.
paper clips and pens.
Yeah, I don't want to sell any of that shit. Let that, because what's the barrier to entry for that? Anybody can go,
Yes,
I want to
very
be
low.
where it's the hardest to do because that's where the rewards are.
Yeah, and also too, it's in my space with my people, and for the work that we do, we're not compensated properly for.
I was.
Oh yeah, of course you were, 'cause you was on a whole nother side of things, but on the other side, we're there. Uh,
Hey, all I hear is horror stories. I mean, I tell people, you don't end up in a Zoom call with me if your life is perfect. Because if your life is perfect, there's no fucking reason to get on the phone with me.
got it.
Okay. All I hear is horror stories. Oh man, we turned a bill in and it didn't get paid for 90 days or 6 months or some stupid shit like that. And the thing is they come sometimes into this thing and they go, and that was a government contract. And I go, time out. There's a huge difference between city, state, and county than there is federal, but they're both government. Okay.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So, what's the difference between the city? Okay, yeah, the city, state, and then federal. Because I would also like to tap into the local government side of things too.
Okay. Let me just clarify for you. You might be one of the slow guys.
Okay.
I get people in these Zooms telling me I'm doing government work and it pays real slow. 90 days, 6 months. I go, time out. Are you talking about federal or city, state, and county? Oh, that was a county job. Oh, that was a state job. Oh, that was a city job. Okay, that's different than federal. I want you to Google the Federal Prompt Payment Act. That guarantees you get paid in 14 days. Okay. See, I've never done city, state, and county because they don't operate under the same rule book. There's no federal acquisition regulations for city, state, and county. It's all different all across the country.
Okay, that makes sense.
So do you want to go learn 3,000 systems or do you want to learn one?
One,
That's
two.
the federal. I only teach federal.
Okay, then we'll stick with that then.
I mean, I'm sure there's money to be made out there and see. I mean, people are making a living, I guess, but all I hear in these Zooms, and I've got hundreds of videos posted on YouTube. But just keep in mind, nobody ever calls me if their life is perfect. So all I'm ever hearing about is problems. That's why I have so few videos of me talking to my clients, because their life is practically perfect.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to join that club.
Yeah, but when I do get a phone call, I usually record them and post them because, well, I'm not going to say usually, because sometimes my answer is something that's protected information. I don't want it out in the public because, if I publish that shit, what do you need me for, right?
Exactly.
But if it's a generalized enough question that they're calling me that they want to know something, first of all, I record all of them, but I post videos with my clients every once in a while when they come in.
So,
Yeah, in fact, I just posted one the other day of Andy Curie, won his first federal contract. It was a window replacement job. He got it for, I want to say 85,000. It's going to cost him 65,000.
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, not bad for his first federal contract, right? 25% margins, roughly.
Right. And then also, like you said, right, with the whole middleman part. So when it comes to like upfront costs, that's that's not even the issue because you're bringing somebody else in to do all the
That's
work.
right.
They're
You're
gonna float.
exactly right. They're going to
They're
go
gonna
out,
float the
order the
payroll.
windows. In
They're
fact,
gonna
he
float
talks
it.
that you're exactly right.
Yeah. And that was, and I will not lie to you, that's the reason why I hesitated to get into government contract because I'm thinking, man, I have to build
Yeah.
up all this
I got to
capital
have
to float
$20,000
payroll,
in cash and I
insurance.
got to have insurance and I got to have
Yeah.
none of that shit is necessary until you get a federal contract. Don't buy insurance until you get a federal contract. Why carry the cost?
Got it. Yeah. So that, like I said, the information. And then, like I said, I started following you. I'm like, it don't seem like it's that bad. Let me go ahead and schedule the Zoom.
As
So
far as I can tell, I'm the only guy like me. Okay. Um, And I didn't post a lot of YouTube videos in the beginning because I was afraid that somebody would, I don't know, figure out, things about me. But then I was talking to somebody one day And I said, how can I help you? And she starts describing who she is and what she does and blah, blah, blah. And I'm listening. And then it was like she was talking off camera, just kind of talking about everything that she did. And then she looked in the camera and she goes, what do you do? And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I've got hundreds of YouTube videos. I require people to watch a video before they get into a Zoom with me. Like, I'm thinking pretty much everybody who gets into a Zoom with me probably understands who I am and what I do. But I'm realizing in this moment, she has no clue who she's talking to. And so I looked in the camera and I said, me? I don't do anything. I just answered the phone when it rang. And she goes, oh, well, it was nice talking to you. And I said, great talking to you too. Have a great day. And I hung up the Zoom and I'm thinking, there is nobody, because everybody in the planet that does these kinds of Zooms is trying to sell somebody something. They're coming into a Zoom to, here's the 7 key steps. And if you buy my shit for $19.99, I'm going to show you how to, they think that's what they're going into. But I don't have to sell anything to anybody. I don't need the money. So my Zooms are educational in nature. But anyway, so I'm getting off this Zoom with her and I'm thinking, that is fucking hilarious. Like the people who know me, that I had the wherewithal to, instead of go, oh, me, I'm the federal government construction expert. I've done 1,000 federal contracts, over $1 billion worth of work with it. Instead of that pitch, and just me, I don't do anything. I thought the people that know me would think that's really hilarious. I realized in that moment that there just is nobody like me.
I wonder how that felt. I bet that was a surreal moment.
It's posted on YouTube somewhere. Good luck finding it, but it's in there.
But no, like, like, just even in this conversation right here, it's like there are other, I would call them influencers at this point. They ride the whole wave of the middleman part, and so they teach you how to do this and do that. But it's just like, soon as you go to that next step, is buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. And I'm like, man, come on. And that's basically what the whole world is now. So I mean, to this conversation right now gives me a lot of confidence. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I'll just tell you this. About 10 years ago, I started seeing the YouTube videos of people talking about the middleman strategy. Like that was some new fucking invention. I've been middlemaning federal contracts since I was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My dad was middlemaning them, but I got, if you watch enough of my videos, you'll find out that I backtalked my mom and I ended up at 15 years old in 29 Palms, California Marine Corps base, insulating ductwork in an attic 6 hours after I backtalked my mom. We live in Austin, Texas. In 6 hours, I was in 29 Palms, California in an attic. Dad could change my whole world. Probably still could. But regardless, that's not a new strategy. Everybody's a middleman. So, sometimes people get into these Zooms and they go, do you teach the middleman strategy? I'm like, everybody's a middleman. Like, if you're selling paper to the government or paper clips or wrestling mats or furniture, bullets, aircraft parts, all that kind of stuff, everybody's a middleman. But think about the barrier to entry. How hard is it to call up a paper company and say, hey, I want to sell 10,000 sheets of paper, and get a price? And that's not coordinating a construction contract, just that job that we were talking about with Tripp, right? You got 200, he said 200 feet of conduit. I'm sure he's relatively accurate. He's been trained to read the plans and specifications, so he can actually see the drawings. And then you got to figure out the electrical element of it. He talked about the locking electric, the whole 9 yards. coordinating that stuff is a lot more complicated because who knows what an LR30 connector is or whatever he was referring to there. I mean, I've heard of that before, but if I had to go to Home Depot and find one, I'd have to go to every single one and read, or coordinate an electrical contractor to go out there and get the whole thing. To him, it's just another job. It's just, if I hired you to do some work up in Indiana, to you, it would be just another job. But to me, I'm making the spread between what I can get you to do it and what I sell it to the federal government for,
That's that magic right there. Is filling that gap right there.
In fact, we call it the magic time zone in the workshop. We spend probably half an hour to an hour talking about the magic time zone.
Well, I'm ready to get started. Because like I said, my family is in Georgia right now. I've been away from them since January. I've only been home once. No, twice. I've only been home twice since January. And don't get me wrong. I mean, this is the life we live. Guys that travel, union guys that travel the United States. But I know personally that there's something better. Because there's levels to everything in life. It's
Well,
just a
there's
fact of
always something better. I mean, we made $300 million over our career, but why didn't we make $600 million over our career? Right? Like there's all, Warren Buffett, there's always something bigger and better. But what I've figured out in life is that people earn what they're capable of earning. If you make $100,000 a year, why don't you make $200,000 a year? Because you haven't learned how to make $200,000 a year. Okay. I made, and my dad, $300 million over our career. We didn't figure out how to make $600 million over our career. But we did learn a huge lesson. You can't make $100,000 on a $100,000 contract. You got to learn how to get a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 contract to make $100,000. Okay. You can't make $1 million on a $1 million federal contract. You got to learn how to get a $3 million, $4 million, $5 million federal contract. It's all a learning process,
Got it. So I'm ready to learn.
Once you learn, it can't be taken out of your head. That's one of the greatest things I love about life. It's why I spend 3 hours a day, even at 53 years old. I spend 3 hours a day learning.
Trying to get my children to realize that.
Once it's in your head, it can't be taken away. If I stripped you naked and took all your assets away, you could figure whatever dollar amount you make per year, within a few months, you could get right back to where you're at. Why? Because you already know how to get to where you're at.
If I get it once, I can get it again.
That's right.
And again and again.
Same thing for me. I know exactly what it took to get right here.
And all it is acquiring the knowledge to get from point A to point B.
That's right. In fact, in the workshop, we call it the knowledge gap.
Yes, indeed.
It's my job to shrink that for you.
I'm ready. I just noticed something. I spelled my last name wrong. It's actually Fambro with an F. I'm typing too fast trying to get on the call.
That's okay. Just tell Mark Weston in text that you want to get it corrected, and he'll get it corrected for you.
I know.
By the way, Mark Weston is an AI that I developed.
It worked.
Yeah, he's pretty darn good.
It worked. Well, Sean, I really appreciate your time today. I know you probably do 1,000 of these, and I mean, from somebody who is like very serious about getting into this space, I can say that I appreciate you doing things like this because, like I said, it's only a few people who even reach this high, to even try to do it. You get what I'm saying? So
Oh, it's a whole nother thing to teach it. My grandfather told me when I was young, he said, if you really think you know something, teach it because your students will push back on you in ways that you can't anticipate. And that pushback will teach you even more. In other words, you'll learn based on the questions you get asked. And I found that to be very true. I've been teaching this now for 15 years. I've already been asked all the thousands of questions that I never thought about and made sure I gave the right answer. There's a lot of stuff I already knew, but boy, teaching it puts a whole new perspective on things.
Got it.
I want people to hold me accountable in the same way that I would hold you accountable.
Yes. So who better to learn from with like I said, with that type of track record? I look at results and
it's public information. If you go look at my client base, it's something like $582 million in federal contracts.
And what you said, the government spends what you said, like $120 billion a year.
It's the equivalent of $1,000 million contracts every business day. So tomorrow, our federal government will award the equivalent of 1,000 $1 million contracts. The next day, 1,000 $1 million federal contracts.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because even like this job I'm on now, it's a pharmaceutical, and the government, pretty much funds the pharmaceutical companies, and they tell us in the meetings that, hey, we're not in a rush, so be safe. They tell us, be safe. We're not in a rush. We're not hurting for money. We just want the place built right. And they're not joking. I mean, like the individual contractors may push a little bit because they still have their deadlines, but overall, Lilly is not in a rush to get this place built.
That's amazing.
So, and like I said, there's just so much opportunity, and again, I'm looking at the other side of it is what's the term? Quality of life. That's what I'm hunting right now is quality of life.
Sure.
What I'm doing now, I mean, like the wage what I'm earning here versus back home is what probably about almost a $30 difference. Believe it or not, it's just like, but I have to be away from my family. So, and like my kids, like, Dad, we want you to come home, but I told them, I said, look, I could be at home every day, but then it's, hey, Dad, I want this. Sorry, babe. Sorry, babe, I can't get that. Hey, Dad, we want to go here. Nah, we just had to pay the phone bill. So sorry, can't go. So, but when I'm here, it's, Daddy, I want this. There you go. And there's no issues because of the gap in the earnings. So
Sure.
now that's the gap I'm trying to close. The proximity to family and comfortable wages. So that goes back to what you said, who win, and you get what I'm saying? That's the gap that I'm closing right now.